Good morning and good afternoon. Let's start with some music and hopefully few of us will gather by the time it starts. So let's go. Hi, Lorna. Hello, Creative Guru. You guys need to give me just few more seconds. All right, I'm back. I had to clean the nails from my garden work. It was just crazy. I did it last night, I did it this morning. It just keeps on going. All right, so here we are. Let's let this play. Hello, Chris, you're there. Where is Barbie? Where is Kylie? Australia is sleeping. I don't blame them. 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm missing Barbie. But anyway, we are going to start with who we have here. I'm going to let this play until it finishes, or should I? Maybe I should just stop. There we go. So I stopped it. It's going to be less of us. We're going to go much faster. And then you guys get your own kind of like mini reading, like, because we have it. Hello, Jenny. Oh, I just misspoke. Everybody's going to jump right now because I can't do it for everybody. I can do it only a few people show up. Start working at the Split Mountain Garden. Ooh, greenhouse. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like, there's like somebody who can give me advice on my gardening thing. I was just trying to design my garden in the morning and it just didn't go well. I was just realizing it would take so much effort to reshuffle everything that they have, and then I just like went back to square one. So let's start. It is June, which means we are going to be starting with Gemini over here. And so you guys can guess the next one. You know that I'm going to write you down for a card if you do. So this is the next one. Putting aside, and let's start. So kind of like try to run on time. So I don't know if it's going to be one time or two times that I'll have to break it in it, but we will see. Hi Agnieszka, how are you doing? So Gemini's happy birthday to start with. It is your month. It's starting on 22nd, I believe, and it goes on to the 21st of June. So it's going to be nice. Oh, there she is. Why will they start later? Did you guys change hours in the US and we didn't change? So let's go. Gemini, you have the Hermit and you have the Strength reverse. Wow, it's really interesting because there are two neighboring cards in Major Arcana. And generally, I always assume the Geminis are not getting big cards because they're like so butterfly-y, so you don't want to load, you know, like, I mean, a rucksack or backpack on a butterfly. But here we are. Let me just get one more. And this one here, really, as you can see, it wanted to come out, so I'm going to take it. Ooh, we have a 7 of Sky. Morning, Barbie. Morning, everybody. So let's see. And I'm going to get, since I'm already shuffling, so that way I don't have to go, that's really, don't jump on the floor. Oh, it was 2. Ugh. So it is like child and it is death. And I really think this is connecting to that 7 of Swords that we have. And that 7 of Swords means that somebody is pissed. It's just like somebody is so pissed that somebody is doing something behind your back. So Hermit means that you're maybe in a mode, which is weird. It's your birthday, and if ever somebody has to be fluffy and butterfly, this is like that. But in your case, it is really interesting because the Hermit is kind of like getting in touch with introspection and wondering how things really need to be done, right? What needs to be done, etc., right? So strength means that somehow you're not having a handle on the matter. And maybe this is connecting. Because of this, you're not kind of like getting like in the mood. You're like not really willing to kind of like push things forward. But Hermit doesn't mean you're like isolating other people. It just means, well, at this time you kind of really want to keep to the bare minimum. So it would mean possibly that your energy is very low. That's what could mean. So this means that somebody, you know, is going to kick you when you're down. I'm sorry to say this, but this is what it is, right? Because like, you're getting almost like 2 identical cards. The death, what comes after that? Reincarnation or nothing, right? Or heaven or hell, whatever it is, like your belief. But it looks like even nothing cannot exist, because even if you're quote unquote dead, put a fork in me, you are still becoming a food for worms if you're going with that logic. But for most of us who are here, we really believe that kind of like we go on, like a spirit is not distinguished, and maybe it's going to just take another form. And that would basically be followed with the birth or child, which kind of like to me, death, especially when it's signified in tarot, means. But we got this child, or Il Bambino, as it would be the original card, right? But it is reversed. So this is really talking about something not being accepted with enthusiasm. Somebody, you're realizing that somebody crossed you, and now, I don't know, there's like something could be literal about children. That's something, I don't know. For example, if you're going through divorce, because strength can also relay that we are connecting to, let's say, marriage or commitment, right? So that's where we are. So you want to be solo, and this is reverse. So this kind of like can really be interpreted this way, and finally kind of like dying, but you're feeling that you're being screwed, and maybe there's an issue about, children, etc. But there's like certain thing that is going to be worry or anxiety, I really have to say. But really be careful that there is going to be immense immaturity on somebody's kind of like part, right? And like this, even though it's starting right now, you're going to see the emotion during your birthday time. I really feel it's going to culminate somewhere end of August to early September. And I'm really giving a window only of a few days, maybe a week, kind of a thing. So something is really happening, and it's with this death card, it always worries me because it's not exactly the same, especially in the order they came through as in tarot. So it would talk, like as I said, literally ending a marriage or relationship, but it also on the positive side can mean end of a bad period. So if you're holding on to something, if you're holding on to commitment and that should end, this may be painful. But if that's something you're looking forward to, it can actually be a revival at the very end. So it also could talk about physical or even emotional recovery. And like what it means all the emotions bubbling up to the surface, right? Sometimes accepting it's over, even if you want it, it's sometimes weird, right? So remember how your ex-girlfriend, boyfriend marries years later, and you're like, oh, this one got away, even though you probably wouldn't even dream about being with this person. It's just how it is, right? So it is really important over here to understand that, it's a process, that something better could be taking place, even though I do feel it was a while for you that you felt a little bit out of place, because this is not a natural kind of like thing for you guys. It's very grounded. It's very much realization of where the money comes from, how to get by, what is important, what is not important. And this is a betrayal. So was it you who betrayed somebody, and now you're like figuring out how to do it, or is it somebody betraying you? It can be both over here. So that is really interesting over here. So we will see. All right, so guys, did you have any guesses for the next one? I am taking guesses. So shuffling this in. I was actually just planting yesterday. I bought wrong hydrangea. I wanted them to be tall, well, not tall, like 4 feet, I guess, tall, which is tall, but hydrangea can go higher, and 4 feet or 5 feet wide. That was the idea, to kind of create the fence. So last year I got the ones that are called Incredible, and so those are larger ones, but I got the ones on sale and they were looking in a rough shape, but the price I got them for, I couldn't complain. So they're like about $50 here, and I think I got them for 10, but I knew the risks would be there. And I wrapped them in burlap over the winter because we have harsh winters. And only one I didn't wrap in burlap because it kind of like was a smaller, and I just put lots of cardboard around it. And that one, cardboard didn't do well over the winter. Yeah, sure, the new shoots are coming from the ground, which means it will take a while. But the other two are doing extremely well. So now I know the purpose. But I got this Annabella is not realizing that much shorter. But anyway, so this is kind of like looking at it, how to do it, and how to kind of like make them grow and fertilize right now. So, hello, Andy. I don't know, I felt weird. I didn't have the last Saturday, did I? Well, if I did, apologize, because then it just kind of felt really quick, but it just made sense to do it before we start the next period, because I thought if I have to cut it in 2 times, that is going to give me enough time to do it today and the next time, which probably would be ideal. So maybe we can do 6 today and the 6 next time. Yeah, and all these hydrangeas should be white, even though they change stuff. And you know, guys, I live very close to the ocean, Atlantic Ocean. So we have a river that basically is an ocean, and eel sharks come with it. And it's salty river and has like, tides. And because of that, we get lots of sandy kind of like soil around here, which hydrangeas really love. So let me see. We had guesses. We had Pisces, we had Aquarius, Leo, and Aries. But we are getting Scorpio. All right, the fixed sign came through. And let me pull another one for the next one. This one is for your next guess, and let's go Scorpio next. All right, let's go. What is in for Scorpio? Oh my gosh, did you guys have a good full moon in Scorpio? That was really deep. It was kind of like understanding for me. It was really getting in touch with me. I was like, okay, you really started to kind of stray away from who you are. And also we got this Pluto in Aquarius, which is going to make me be Scorpio probably for the rest of my life, because I think when it goes out, is it? No, maybe when it goes out, is it 20 years? No, it looks something. No, it's going to be for the rest of my life. That's what it is. No, it is 30 years or something, I think. Yeah. So after that, I'm sure to being over, if not before. So, oh, you have a purple kind of blue, so that's kind of like one of those colors that is hard to get, but I'm trying to keep them white. All right, Scorpio, I think I should probably redo your stamp here. And let's do it at Scorpio. Let's see. I just want to do, I don't know why I was enthused to do the bottom ones. So you have 9 of Earth. You have 7 of Fire. And you have 8 of Earth reversed. So really interesting, because they're all minor arcana. So no matter what, the month is not going to be very difficult. Most of the month, it looks like you're going to be very content, very much like Gemini, which is running this month. You also have the opening with 9 over here, right? And the 9s are always like the kind of like karmic number where we are either awarded or punished. So when do we get awarded? We get awarded if in the previous stages 1 to 8 we did everything we could to succeed within that parameter. So that doesn't mean like you have to be, I don't know, Elon Musk success level. That means within who you are, what you needed to accomplish. Now if you didn't even try, then you get kind of like some talking to, and that's when it doesn't work. In your case, Scorpios, it looks like you did well, and it's really time to like now enjoy. And I don't know, always when I see this roundness, kind of like reminds me of this entirety of the globe, and kind of like soaking in the sun and everything. So it's really kitty that is in the best of the element, in even having the window outside, but staying here because it's good. But look what we are getting to into it. That will be my Amazon delivery, and I'm getting the alarm as you can hear it. So now we have a 7 and we have a 8, and that's 15. 15 is a devil's card. And you are becoming a little devil, and I think you're going to have possibly a fiery affair. It's good. Nobody's going to get into this house. So it's going to last, unfortunately, until they leave. Tiger! Just give me a sec. It's not going to stop. Just give me a sec. I hate when they start taking pictures of your doors. Do they guys do that in the US as well? It just like always feels so violating. I know they need to prove, but I also need my own privacy as well. So no wonder the dog is barking, because I left the screen door open so he can just see the person right in front of me. So Scorpio, this is exactly what's going to be. Like, do you see this interruption of the pattern? Like, so you're like enjoying yourself, and then bam, literally, as you can see, like when you read tarot, you really don't need cards. Like, you can just observe, and you just kind of like go with the space that you have ahead of you, right? So Seven of Fire is kind of like you not necessarily telling somebody else, but somebody is poking at you, somebody is pushing the buttons, and you have been observing that for a while. And now you feel, you know what, I need to put you in your place. Now I need to deal with this, right? It almost like looks like it could be a job situation. There's somebody who is inferior to you, who kind of like wants to take you a notch down, or they want to get some kind of accolades, but you feel that they're going about it the wrong way, or they're kind of putting you down, and you're just basically showing them who is the boss, right? Also, it's kind of like you feel it's a protege, because it's really interesting that this card is coming through, because that's the Eight of Pentacles, which kind of like comes before this one, and it's really talking about training. It's really talking about getting the kind of like small elements in place and making sure they're all covered, right? So it almost like feels to me it was a trainee, and you're saying, okay, let me see how you would do it on your own, since you're like the smartest in the room, and like, let's see, wait for you to fall in your place. So I will not say I told you so, but you're just going to learn that like when I make guesses and choices, they're educated choices. It kind of like really feels this way. Because overall, you're in the Pentacles over here, and Pentacles are kind of like grounding atmosphere. But if you need to kind of like plop somebody and just put them in their space, that is going to be opportunity for that as well, and you're going to give it a lots of thought about that. So let me just see that a little bit more here, and just for these two cards I want to get it. Hey Andy, good for you if you can do that. I actually probably should subscribe to YouTube. It was one of the best subscription I tried. Yeah, look at this. The man in conversation. So it could be a man you're dealing with. Actually, it could be the opposite. It could be your boss is talking down to you as well. Kind of like that's clearly connecting to this conversation. Or maybe it's your ambition that is pushing you through. So it can be seen this way. If this is you and you're being talked to and being told to back off, and you feel you are correct and you should kind of like make it known, I would just advise to be more diplomatic and make sure you kind of like dotted all your I's and cross your T's, because that's going to be very important in this situation, because it almost looks like it's a collective under this person, and it didn't come a lover, it came as Lord, and Lord is the one who has more power in the situation. Lord is the one who quote unquote owns the land, so hence it could be somebody really important, right? So keep in mind that this is also somebody who has a status, somebody who has already proven themselves, right? Somebody who is admired. So it is really if this is like the person you're challenging, you have to understand that you're going against the quote-unquote system. You're going against reputation. So make sure, as I said, that you're kind of like taking care of all the little details here that you need to do it. Let me just catch up with you guys. Oh, you like the white ones, Andy? So I'm very simple. I just want everything in my front lawn to be white, blue, or purple, mostly white. I have lilies, lilac tree. It is finally coming out. It's the middle of May, which means in 2 days, guys, we'll be in the summer. And then we had late spring, but then we have like 3 days of, we had, long winter, 3 days of spring, and now the summer. So creative. You can figure out how to keep them away from cats. The flowers? Plants, I just give them catnip and they'll be just fine, right? So that's it, right? So let's see. Wire fence. I don't know, like my kitty cats kind of like started to come out in the backyard with me and kind of like checking things out. It's really interesting how they kind of like handle it. So let me see, we have guesses. Barbie's coming up with areas. Oh, I have the, what do you call it? Is it bleeding heart? Bleeding heart. That's very toxic to cats. I have to really watch that they're not chewing on it, right? So I have Aries, Virgo. I'm going to see the screen and I'll know when you guys pick it up. So it was Libra, but I'm going to pull another one. Let me see. I still didn't open it. I'm watching the screen there. And nope, nobody put Libra in, so I can put a stamp here. So Barbie is Libra over here, and let's see, what do we get for you Librans? Libra. This one went to, ooh, Ace of Cups. Very nice. Oh, Andy, you have to tell us how was the date. And then, ooh, look at that. 8 of C, Ace of C, 8 of C. Oh, Libra, it's going to be all romantic. Just even a little bit of nostalgia, even though I think the Mercury retrograde officially is done tomorrow. It was one thing after another, from garage door not willing to open or close to kind of like a stuff that I had to do with my computer, reinstall it. It was actually less because it didn't cost me as usual, but it is what it is. So let's see. Let me get one here. Even though I have nothing to clarify, but there is a scholar over here that is really happening. So Libra, this is Venus principle, so this is you basically showing up. This represents Taurus or Libra, and we are right now reading in Taurus, so it is really interesting if you're really looking from that standpoint. We are starting with the Ace of, you're starting with, Barbie just got, got your email. Just give me a second. Oh, finally you did show up, so that's very nice to see it. So thank you for your words. So this talks about something, a new beginning, something that you're very enthusiastic about, something that you want to do. Could be little projects around the house. It could be a person that you're interested in, but it could be literally something you love. Just as simple as, you know, knitting or crochet or even fixing stuff and creating something from the past that now you love again. I had this blanket that for some reason had cuts and holes in it, and I was thinking could it be moths, but it didn't have any moths, so it could be that it was squished somewhere and just ripped. And I was using it because I like the color, I like how warm it is, but I just never kind of like put it together because you needed special needles and stuff. So a few days ago, finally, I was in Dollarama and I watched wools, and it was exactly the same color. Oh, I said, let me fix it. So that kind of like was my Ace of Cups moment. Oh my goodness. There is somebody else happening here, and again, there's something like that's going to happen. It is going to be a little bit of noise happening. So maybe you're going to find that, because you're Libra, so I have to read this a little bit different than I would, for example, read it for Scorpio. So what is happening when I'm reading for Libra? Because you are technically, you're one of those signs that appear always, I don't know how to put it, deceptive. Because you're going to give that impression that you're very gentle, that you're very, you know, amicable, that you're going to be agreeable, you're kind of like diplomatic. But boy, pardon my language, don't F with Libra, because if, you know, like, I mean, you just poke that veneer, you're going to see like that force behind it, because Libra is an air sign, and like that's just appearance. And so that's basically when nobody's touching and nobody poking, that's what's going to see in Libra. Very kind of like relationship oriented, very collaboration oriented. But if you feel that you can pull wool over Libra's eyes, that's not going to happen. Because, you know, they know better. If you really look at the people, I was talking to Safi last night and asked her to join us, and look at that. Yeah, because she didn't join us in a long time. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. You love Libras? Huh? Do you? Do you? Huh? Do you? Do you love Barbie? Oh, you love Barbie. But watch out, I need to see the cards. So, interestingly enough, that you got 8 of Cups. And it's one of those weird cards that basically tells me that, yeah, you're pleased in the moment. And that is like something you guys will see with Libra, right? Oh, like, why would you change anything? Everything is so nice. And Libra is like, dude, I didn't come to this planet just to swim in that little small pond. I want to see the world. I wanted to see what is out there, right? And that's what's happening. You're studying something. You're researching something. You're looking at the possibility and options. And this might not need to be something permanent. This could be just like something in the moment, on the spur of the moment, just kind of like checking out what is out there, right? And just kind of going with that. But then you head into that Empress situation. And Empress is, again, Venus principle. So you're going to be very lovey-dovey for sure this entire month. But, you know, the Empress is that soft principle, a sweet principle. Gosh, did you guys watch Coronation? They're going to change our money here. It's going to be really weird. But this is kind of like about beauty, about sensuality, fertility. It's kind of like holding the whole life together, right? This is also all the cards encouraging you to kind of like spend time in the nature. So here, yeah, you would see the gardening, you would see spending time with kids or grandchildren or pets if these are your kids, right? So that's a deeply nurturing, kind of like a caring card. So it's going to be really best of Libra. If you really want to meet somebody super sweet coming up during Gemini transmission, well, there it is. That was Freudian lapses, what I'm thinking would be all coming from kind of like vibrations or something, right? So also, Empress means that there is some kind of like universal energy that is about to intervene in your life, right? It's a really good thing. It's announcing something good. It's almost like going to give you a glimpse, let's say, of a miracle, but it could be even more, you know? So you might not right now know what's going to bring this kind of like good fortune, but you know what? Like, I mean, caring and nurturing and presenting yourself that way is going to be kind of like that magic key that you really need to do that, right? You might even have a spur or something that looks like accidental good luck, if you wish, right? But believe it or not, that was not accidental. That was a series of choices that you have already done, right? That good choices that you have already made that are now resulting there, right? So it is your turn to kind of like have the things work in your favor and to be blessed and to be nurtured. So this could mean also receiving some kind of like patting, receiving kind of like some acknowledgement. And you need to know that you are worthy of it, because here you are in kind of like embarking on a trip and saying, I am heading there, right? Scholar can mean lawyer, scholar can mean a teacher, scholar can mean a therapist, scholar can mean somebody who is giving you advice. And almost like you're walking away from it, maybe getting a second opinion, but then the energy keeps coming back to you. So just keep this in mind. Alrighty, let's go next. I already know it's going to be probably only half today because we were supposed to get rain the whole day, and we got sunshine instead, and I would like to take advantage of it, and then I see you next weekend. So let's see, did you guys guess who is the next one? I'll shuffle this and catch up with you. So, oh, your yard is sandy too. So, are you in Colorado, sandy soil? I thought this is just typical for us who live close to it. See, this is how little I didn't really know. So we will see. Yeah, Safi just made her grand entrance. Last week I took Matrix to the vet because I was a little bit concerned about his coughing and stuff and sneezing. But he's apparently doing really well for a gentleman who is 13 years old. And kind of like now he has to get antibiotics. He has a little bit of respiratory infection, but that was it. That's why it is. All right, so we have Sagittarius over here. Anybody else? I'm going to start opening this while you guys guessing. Oh, with Gemini, we did it. So there is another one that I need to pull. Let's see. Okay. Which one? Oh, what do we have? We have Saggy. We have a Leo. And we didn't have the Aries. We had it the last one over there. So, let's see Aries. Aries. Ooh, what was weird? Like, so this one is almost like more up, so I'm going to take it this way. Drum roll. Drum roll. And look at that. So we have the Devil reversed. We have 4 of Cups or 4 of Sea reversed. And the lobsters are all dancing. And then we have the 7 of Earth. So the Devil is clearly overpowering, I mean, everything, because it's a major arcana. It's also a very strong major arcana. So let me just get some more information over here. So Devil is usually talking about impatience and getting your way and not doing the hard work to get there. Things can be given to you easily, but you just trade something that maybe is essential. It's almost like you're sent to the mission to get something back, and you do everything but that, right? So even though it looks good during our lifetimes, it's kind of like we come to the end of the life and you go, and what were you thinking about it? House. Huh. Evil in the house, my dear Aries. Or about a house. A house is really interesting because is this your house? It's clearly not mine. Like it's like looks like it's my entire block, and my last name is not Rockefeller over here, my dear Aries. We don't get many Aries here, or do we? Or do we have people who are connecting with Aries here? But in any case, this to me represents family or emotional bonds and office and security, but also responsibilities, right? And independence. So, you know, it could be the house where we live, but it also could be, you know, where family gathers, and it represents the origins of the family and the roots of the foundation, but also life and love flow over here. So to me, it would suggest a stable environment, but it did come as a clarification of this Devil card reversed, which was why I started here. So if something is vibrating underneath you, it's not going to be that stable after all, right? So it's almost like reading it in a negative possible way. So it could be something with a breakdown in a family, or some kind of quarrels, or you're cutting somebody off in a family. It can talk about dissolved partnerships, right? Because that's where the Devil is. The Devil card only works for Capricorns because this is their card. And they know how to maneuver. They know how to use the best parts, which is basically I'm going to get as much sex I can get, right? And I'm going to be very successful, but you know what? I can do so much good to handle it. The rest of us cannot handle devil that well, right? So we really have to be cautious when it get to this. And Aries being such a young sign, and when you're young, this is like being a teenager, right? In horoscope, like you think the world is your oyster, that you know the best, and that's where you fall for it, because everybody can pull the wool over your eyes, and that's why you're battling it with the sheer, will, because the will is really very strong. So, but it's really interesting because the devil is also talking about the dark parts of ourselves, where sometimes we do stuff and then we convince ourselves that we did really well, even though it was kind of like tricky and iffy. So something is unhealthy over here, or something is dependent relationship. It could be financial issues of some sort, or I don't know, just name it, anything that goes under devil, right? Like, unhealthy lifestyles, addictions, materialism of some sort, right? So it's really interesting because in the state, you are not desiring freedom from these kind of like things, because it's reversed, right? You know that you're succumbed to like whatever these habits or addictions, that you're kind of handling it, and you are trying to create a life view that support that, because otherwise, it will be conflict. And when it's a conflict, the body kind of like becomes ill. Because we can see here, like, you're exhausted. You're freaking exhausted, but you're waiting for something really, really patiently over here. But this is like really all going back to this devil, because 4 and 7 is 11, and 11 is justice. So it could be some kind of like legal process or something that needs to be balanced out. It's a karma principle in play, because this also can talk about some form of a detachment, almost like in Buddhism, how the principle is. And how they do it, they kind of like, detachment is expressed with non-attachment, right? Where you need to overcome your attachment in terms of desire for things or people or concepts of the world, right? And you need to attain that heightened perspective. And I really think that's why we got this house that even has this, what did they call it? Is that called, it's not called Widow's Peak, the little kind of like fence on the top of the house, which is so useful. I think they're like starting to build these green cities that they really need to be done, right? So it's really important over here. What you guys do have, you have patience, and that is going to save you, because under devil card, patience is not there, and this is really why you succumb to all of these problems, right? But you, for some reason, it's really hard for you to deal with that, because either depression or exhaustion or fatigue is going to be something that you're going to have to deal with. But nonetheless, you are really resolving yourself to continue and wait. It's really interesting that we see this mushrooms, and mushrooms kind of like grow. They kind of like have that healing quality as well. But the kitty cat is not eating mushrooms. It's almost like something healthy is there, even though we know that the cat is waiting for a mouse. But to me, this also can be seen in the other way, that there's like something that we should be doing, but instead we want to pound on it, if you know what I mean. So let's say if you're ill and your physician suggests the treatment, but you want to try something else, which you don't know if it is the mainstream or not mainstream. That's kind of like where we are with this kind of like 7 of Earth. So I really hope this helps, my dear Aries. Okay, I didn't pull the card, but you should have guessed, or you could guess, so we can see that. Oh, you're the Aries rising. So you tell us, what is this all about? There's going to be lots of stuff over there. So let's see. Oops. What was that? The keyboard on the floor. I really hope it's going to work, because Mercury retrograde is still here for a few days. So let's see. Oh, I'm just getting this thing that's in Toronto. It's a really beautiful. Oh, I opened it up. You can mess with people's money unless you plan on some sort of hell to break loose. So, yeah. Well, lots of people mess with our money. They're going to change our money successfully. Maybe our governments need to quit laundering. Where are you, Jenny? Are you in Canada or are you in the US? Like, you guys are not. I never understood you guys, Americans. Please explain to me your money. Like, everything is the same. I would be just so lost in space with needing to check every bill. Instead, like, we have such beautiful color-coded money, and it's so much easier, at least for me. Oh, you're in Eastern Utah. Why are they changing your money? So that's really weird. So, Capricorns, you're next. Unless nobody guessed, so let's do Capricorn. But do we still have another one? Yeah, you can guess the very last one. Here we go, and we can do Capricorn. So Chris made a really good pick. You see how this really works, taking advantage, knowing when to kind of like take advantage. I always admire how Capricorns can take advantage of that card, even though I wish they had a better card pick for them. Probably could be in a different form. So let's see. Capricorn. What, Andy, did you guess Capricorn? Barbie, you are calling the shots. Do we give her a card or no? So I'm going to leave it to you. Oh, you guys guessing. Oh, that's for the next one? Then Capricorn would make sense. So, interesting. So Capricorns, you have 5 of fire, of 5 of wands, and then you have the Emperor reversed, and then you have a 10 of fire. This worries me a little bit because it's a major arcana. So, oh, and he just jumped on it. And we also have the house reversed. So there's like some way of feeling not being acknowledged within your own domicile when the house reverses over here, right? Everything that I was just talking just previously for Aries, you should check how the house is upright. But when this kind of like goes upside down, right, that is like something that is really happening. And also it's connecting to the Emperor that is reversed, so it's kind of like a double whammy. It doesn't become up, it just becomes twice down, if you wish, right? It can talk about family quarrels. It's almost like somebody's playing with the fire, because look at this kitty. You're trying to wiggle through it. Oh no, sorry, it's not 5 of wands. It is fire tone, so it is the Knight of Wands. So it could mean a one night stand, like that would be the Knight of fire, not Knight of Wands. And so it could be somebody kind of like calling it, or it was not meeting of the minds, but it was reversed. So it's something made fast and hasty, but also I don't think there were like all acknowledgements made, and that created confusion. But look, he's coming this way, so he's fire, he's coming toward the Emperor, which is also fire. So it's really interesting because it's combining with the house. It's almost like so this could be you, Capricorn. I would guess this is you in the center over here. It could be some kind of domestic environment. It could be building a house or some kind of like real estate. And I think it's going to be a fight and a blow up of some sort. But keep in mind, when we are going through Geminis, they're like really excellent in creating the problems. Really, they are. And they don't do that because they want to. They just kind of like too bubbly, and sometimes they say too much, which in turn can create all of us to really think through and do stuff. So that is really important, what to do with, right? So what is really important here to know is that you need to clear any kind of like misunderstandings, and I think you're going to put somebody in place and go with that, right? So take a stock of relationships, even like doesn't matter if they're at home, office, or with friends, because it can also signal possible the end of a business relationship. Because this is being reinforced with this 10 of fire. 10 of fire in a sense is a good card because it comes to the end. But like if you remember, the original card is the guy loaded with all of these wands and he's trying to carry them. But he didn't put them on the shoulder or over his shoulders. He's carrying them in front of him, which makes you think, is this dude going to trip? What is going to happen? How is going to handle dealing with all of that, right? But it's a fire element. So fire means, like you're very vigorous, you are willing to kind of like put an effort and deal with kind of like these things, right? But you can also talk about, let's say, secrets, right? You can talk about, things happening, in the background. It can talk about somebody not acknowledging your hard work. Because look at in this card, we have a whole bunch of kitties, like in the Nine of Fire, they were like all gathering around the fire and kind of like enjoying the kind of like heat waves. But now it's like sparks are flying everywhere, right? So what is really important is that, it's 10, and 10 does talk about achievement, 10 does talk about, okay, you're just about to start the next level, and maybe this next stage you're unloading somebody. Maybe it was too hard for you to carry, maybe you carried somebody, but look at this, like not a single person is in a good position. And when Emperor is reversed, it could even mean that is even worse. So keep in mind that this could be somebody who is, for example, a micromanager, or somebody who has, let's say, issues delegating. So I don't know, I'm not seeing, it could be a personal relationship. In that case, I would say that something happened which was not clarified, and now there are lots of hurt feelings because things were not kind of like clarified. But also it could mean, and I'm more leaning, this is kind of like business kind of situation where somebody's pulling the rug under your feet, and now you're kind of like really wondering how to deal with this, right? It can also talk about the power of the government, if it really, now it just crossed my mind, and decision making somebody, right? Because what is like really important about the Emperor, he is about control and he is about authority, right? So these could be some decisions that are concerning agreements, contracts, profit sharing, or management. So it almost looks like something is going to rock the house. It's an earthquake in Capricorn's reading, and it has to be cleared. And just make sure that you're not taking too much to handle, because it's going to be hard. Just like take the top 3 and think about it. What would be the most important things to you? So when shit hits the fan, you know which direction to go. And let's do it, right? So let's see. Creative Guru said she wanted to start garden for veggies. That's what I wanted to do. I got these, and the people who are on my who are on WhatsApp group, right? Like they saw the planters, but they were so small and tiny. And my garden, my backyard is in the northeast, so it doesn't get enough sun. Not to mention that we just get the weather right now to plant, so we are behind it. But it still did give me some beans and did give me lettuce. Not much of carrots, etc. I probably need to plant it. So, but I realized I have a spot. It would be ideal, just plant it in the ground. But when I realized the effort, because it's on the slope, that I would have to do it to kind of like build it, I said, nah, I'll buy it in spite of all of these kind of like prices that need to be kind of like done. So let's do that. So, Chris, yeah, that will be interesting. What is like with you Capricorns? Could it be like some, that Chris is self-employed and Andy isn't, and both of them Capricorns? That would be really interesting to touch base, because it was not negative. It was just saying that it's going to be somebody challenging you, if not you challenging yourself. So that's going to be interesting. Then, any guesses that we have over here? So what Barbie said for Andy? Barbie said no. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was late too, but Barbie has the eyes on the road and kind of like it's the best to go with that. All right, so let's do that. The last one, I'm waiting for you guys to put your guesses so I don't kind of like unwrap it. And then we call it a day, and we see each other next week for the part number 2. I should probably just edit here right away. I don't know if I can. I guess I can. Part 1, Caturday live. I'm going to put here part 2, 20th. So we will just do it in time. 20, almost put June, and we are only in May. Boy, that would be like time flying fast. So we have Virgo, we have Pisces. Nobody else is throwing their hat in, and look at that. We have Creative Guru. Bravo, bravo, bravo. So I'm putting this down, and it will be Pisces. To finish the part numero uno, I'll put this aside. The kittens wouldn't play with that. And let's see it. And sorry, I'm just laughing at your comment. I'm taking on more work. And you see, this is how it works. Like, I mean, I get your energy, which comes really through very strong. So that's what I said. When you're on live, absolutely every reading can resonate with you. You don't have to look for the signs that they're connected, because it almost like feels like, you know, they think on the other side that we are either dumb or we are not capable of understanding how to connect with them, and they just want to get their message through. So that is really, really important. So we have Pisces as the last one. And so this would be Six of Swords reversed. Then this will be like the Queen of Cups, which could be you, which probably is you. And then we have Strength. And let me just see, why do we have the Six of Cups over here? And what is this all about? And we have Merchant, which is really interesting because in the traditional Rider-Waite card, we have these people sailing in that little boat with the swords. Oops, what did I do? Pricked right in. Did I move it? Let me just not touch it until I see it. And then we have like the same thing, the boat and the water kind of like happening as well. So it is really interesting that we are kind of like having repetition of a theme, because in this case there should be going away when it's upright. Okay, I did move it. I'm just going to put it down a little bit. But in this case, it's coming back. So which means somebody wanted to resolve the situation, Pisces, and kind of like looked for either advice outside or facts outside. Like Merchant is really interesting because it's all business. Merchant is not necessarily having an emotional component, right? So we are talking about the financial gain, or somebody who is kind of making business decisions, but it also could mean somebody who could be greedy or devious, kind of like stuff. I could talk about secret meetings, maybe something took behind your back, but I am not reading any of that here, to be honest with you, because look at the culmination of these cards over here, right? We are talking, you know, that there is like some kind of skill, or maybe it's simply telling you because you are such a dream sign, and maybe you were in your dreams thinking, I'm going to go in this direction, I'm going to get that direction, this is what I want to do. But then you kind of like just change your mind, and now you're feeling completely comfortable with who you are, where you are. So even though the Six of Sky talks about bridge over troubled waters, now you're saying, I'm going to tackle this. I don't have to be in the calm waters. I'm freaking fish and I can do whatever I want, right? So this is, to me, kind of like you are making do with whatever you have. You are not looking outside, kind of like you're not pushing outside, etc., right? So the Queen of Cups is basically somebody really nourishing. It could be you. Maybe you simply need kind of like somebody to just step in and kind of like give you, because hey, if you're always Queen of Cups, then who is going to nourish you, right? But it's emotional security, it's a calm, it's intuitive, but it also can mean codependency, which I don't think is the case over here. But she's looking back into that. So maybe you're not getting suckered in, because it's so easy to sucker in Pisces in anything, begging in the street, and then you realize the person is richer than you, then it makes you really resented. But there is a Strength also, where it is like, I mean, it is major arcana, so it is really talking really loudly about this particular time period, so June transition through your sign. And it's really talking about, you know, keep in mind that this is happening after Chariot, and Chariot always wants to be solo. He is like forging ahead. But then this is talking about the woman taming the lion, which is just general kind of stuff, which somebody offers love and patience, almost like here, right? And you kind of like give other people space. You are really tolerant of their needs. There's like some kind of like big time acceptance. So how this can translate is that maybe you had issues with your loved one. Maybe they were all business and they were shoving you aside because they were doing stuff, and you call it. You said that, you know what, I just cannot handle this. And you kind of like took some space for you, it sounds to me. But then you realize that now you can turn around. Maybe this is because you can handle it better and you're giving yourself all the nourishment you need, but you also kind of like in a much better space to handle the situation. And now, because of how you handle it, I really think the strength coming through is talking about accomplishment. The strength is also commitment. The strength is also moving ahead, doing ahead, and kind of like going along with this, right? So whenever I see strength, it means that, you know, the world is in your oyster, kind of like a thing. You don't really have much to worry about, right? So personality wise, could be somebody who has immense inner strength, right? And courage, right? And because I really feel this is really talking about relationships and love, it talks about relationships being stronger and really much improved, right? You are less doubtful about if your partner is thinking and resonating on the same kind of like wavelength, right? You are willing and able to move that relationship forward. So this commitment doesn't have to be ring on a finger, but it's just kind of feeling that sense of comfort that you're kind of like doing something well with somebody, right? And it's also really important, even if you don't have a partner, this is telling you that you're actually vibrating properly to attract a partner. So, and that not only a partner, but the right partner, which is really, really important. Also, this really talks about really good space health-wise, even though there are some major setbacks kind of like stuff, but this is really good about the strength and stamina, and that's where we are. So let me see what we have here. Who had dates? We had people with dates. You had a date, Chris. Went on a bike ride with her. I took a bike for her. She didn't know. Coaster break. What is a coaster break? Didn't tell me. Oh my God. So that could be it. Like, you guys didn't communicate. What do you mean? Like, it was just like the reading was like that. It was like something was not explained properly. And like kind of like, so what it is. Like, oh my gosh, she broke her ribs. Bruised her ribs. Okay, breaking the ribs is like so bad. So now you can nourish her now, and that's it. Like, I mean, she took you down also, I guess. So that kind of like it was literal in your case. Okay, solo winner, creative guru. Let me grab the card for creative guru. Oh, these cards didn't want to come out. Let me just get your card, and then we'll get the doors. So let's do that. So, I thought for a moment it's a Hierophant, but no, it's a King of Wands. And that's a really good place to be. So the card is telling you that you're a master of your domain, that this is like a lion principle, that you can rule your kingdom, that you can kind of call your shots and say what you need and what you want. And what did I do here? I didn't even put the Pisces over here as a reader, but I'm going to give it a guess. So King of Wands is really telling us that you should do stuff. Go and play golf or mini golf. Go and do your garden. Like, it's very kind of like action principle, right? And he's like on the top of his skill. There is like not much that he has to kind of like worry or kind of handle it. And you can and should have high expectations for yourself. That can be a vision, natural born like leader, right? So like he's representing that life and creativity. So it's almost like there will be kind of like spark if you kind of like wish with that. So you're like kind of like you have to tell yourself that you need to lead your life with intent, vision, and that you really need to think long term, and it is going to be very important, right? So this card can come through when we're experiencing challenges, because that means it's a part of the journey, but it's also telling you, okay, now it's going to be much more positive at this particular stage, and you will see that in time, that this is what basically it was only blip on the radar. So that's kind of like really important to do that. So it's kind of like also some kind of opportunity that might present themselves to you. So be careful that you don't have some kind of indecision or doubt, because that can just say, okay, you don't appreciate my kingdom, off I go. So hopefully this helps. And let's now do our doors. Let me put here the stamp. All right. And let me see. Welcome, creative. So Ikat is not here, but she sent me her info yesterday, so I'm going to do that before the next time for sure. I was like inundated with emergency readings, so which is good financially, but it's kind of like pushing these other readings aside, but it's going to happen. So let me see. Oh, I cannot do that. I have to cut it so you don't see it. I'll continue shuffling. So you guys think of the question. We will have a left, middle, and the right door, or 1, 2, or 3. So think of your question and pick one of the doors so you can get your question answered. I'm going to look at the bottom card. You can go with that. So guys, I don't see anybody saying what you picked, what you are doing, how you are doing. So we are doing doors. I was trying to scan my stamps, and it just says, oh, you need to log in with the email, type your email. Really, what happened with all of the stuff that I stored? So we have door number 1. It's the world reversed. So unfortunately, it's a no. And the reason why it's no, it's saying that you still need to stay here to learn something. The world eventually turns around, but this is really not a good place. And I really like how she's basically being pictured here, like with a big ballroom gown that is like barely kind of like connecting her, right? So there is like think that means that it has to be something on the solidity principles. Either you need to be more visionary, or you need to look deeper into yourself, or you need to work on establishing yourself more, and then the confidence comes through. But there's like one of these areas that they're affected, or all of them, 1, 2, 3, or 4 of them, and when that happens, that can turn around. So keep this in mind. Let me see. Chris says, sorry, disappointed, but decided to let her go. It had nothing to do with her crash. I did loan her my beamer, okay, which she said help her heal quickly. You need to get your beamer. That's what you suggested to me. Is that something that costs like $20,000 that I cannot possibly afford? All right, the door number 2, we have Ace of Pentacles, and that's also no. Well, actually, both of them could be sort of a yes, but it's no right now. It could be yes, because Ace of Pentacles talks about a seed that just doesn't want to germinate. So what can you do when seed doesn't germinate? You have to see if the soil is good. So you have to see if elements are there. You need to clarify it. You need to give it more care, and then it might turn around. And the door number 3, we have Hermit. It is really interesting because that is a yes, but it also says you really want to keep to yourself. So if you ask for this to be with other people or something, if there is a big group of people, I would say the answer most likely will be no, and you're going to make the decision. So it is yes, whatever you want, but I feel that this has to connect with the inner world, with the inner kind of like search. It is so lovely in this card because like kind of she's bending over that star that is over there, right? And nothing really matters than just that feeling of introspection over here, right? So it is really important here to understand that kind of like in which direction you want to hold and continue as far as it is, because it suggests that it would be better to be to as little people as possible, or even solo, for this to be like as successful as possible. So I don't know if this is kind of like what it is, right? So let me see what you guys said. Creative. I can see how the world reverse could mean I need to take care of the few loose ends before diving in. Absolutely, because it's almost like a warning. Like, don't think about because it says no. It can just simply mean, hey, did you put your seatbelt? Because maybe something down the road is going to be very useful. Some of stuff like that, right? It doesn't even have to be an accident, right? So sometimes I step on the brakes because people just jump out of their driveway without looking, and if you didn't have that seatbelt, you would hit yourself. Otherwise, you just continue driving. So that is really important, right? So, and that's right. Some seeds have hard shells, soak them overnight or something, right? So there's like maybe somebody needs smoothing over to kind of like do it, because Ace of Pentacles is generally a good card to get. It means it's a long-term something. Maybe somebody is dealing with something they have to deal with. It might not be even you. And it's better for you kind of like not to jump into something that is half-baked. So keep that in mind. So anyway, guys, that is like it for me today. I really hope kind of like we covered stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. We have Taurus, Cancer, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aquarius for June, and we are going to also have a pick a card next time. So I love you very much. Also, I have to tell you that my fan days are not that very popular. I don't know why it is. Like, I mean, they're popular with you who show up, but not with the others, which kind of like sucks. So I don't know, maybe the Skin Indiana questions didn't kind of like resonate. Maybe I have to continue doing with tarot, but we will see. So just was really interesting to see that was a big dip, but I have to think of something in the future. I'll see you the next Saturday, guys, as I'll see you there, and after the next one, we might have, so let me see, we might have even, 2 weeks break. But the next Saturday, I want to finish this June readings. And until the next time, I guys wish you all the best, wish you well, enjoy your day, and you know that I love you. Take care. Bye.